Jai Hind viewers, welcome to AKGC Digital School. My name is Pankaj Singh, Faculty of IT Department. Today I am going to deliver my video lecture on a topic, Introduction to Operating System and their Functions. Okay, so before going to the introduction part, first we understand what is operating system in a very simple language. In a very layman language, operating system work as a interface between the user and the hardware components, because user understand human language just like Hindi, English, and machine understand, computer understand machine language, like in a binary form or in a specified language, in a high level language or low level language. So here one question arises, why we need operating system? So the very first requirement of operating system that will interface between user and hardware components. User directly cannot interact with the system because as I said earlier, system understand machine language and user understand human language. Secondly, to use the computer hardware in an efficient way, an operating system is similar to a government. Just like all the operations of a country, or we can say a city, is managed by a government. Likewise, all the functions of a computer machine is managed by operating system, or in a simple we can say it work as a manager to manage all the things that are relevant to the computer machine. So this diagram will clear you all the basic things about the operating system. What is the definition of operating system? As we see here, it works as a interface, or we can say sandwich between user application and the hardware components. Here is a user. User generally use the application and system software. As we know that what is operating system? Operating system is a system software. And generally we know that software is of two types, application software and system software. Application software generally we use to access the feature of a specific type of application, just like MS Word and Adobe, different paint shop applications. And system software is a operating system. So to interact with the hardware, user interact first with the system software, and that will convert user request into a hardware and take the work from the hardware. And how the work is taken from hardware? That is done by the help of term system call. Okay, and that term we will discuss in the next PPT in a detail. There are different type of system call that is very in a window. There are different type of system call, and in a Linux, Unix there are different type of system calls. So that are generally used to interact with the hardware, and operating system interact with hardware to take their work by using system calls. So now we will take here the definition of operating system. And operating system is a system software that work as an interface between the hardware and the user, or between the hardware and application software or system software. It can also be defined as a resource manager that manage both hardware and software resources of a system. Because I said earlier that operating system just a manager. It will not add anything to the existing components of a hardware, or we can say the application of software. It overall manage all the parameters that are relevant to a software in a term of system software, and instruct to the hardware components. What are hardware components here? If we are talk about here, these are CPU, RAM and input output devices. Let's have a look over here. What are different type of operating system are available in a market? As we know that the most familiar operating system in a market is Windows. Different versions of Windows are available: XP, 2008, 2010, like that. And the product of Windows is of which company? As we know that it is a product of Microsoft. Likewise, we also have another operating system for touch screen devices, or specifically if we talk about the mobile phones, the OS uses Android and iOS, Mac. So, as we know, Android is a product of Google and Mac is a product of Apple. So, these are the different operating systems generally in a commercial use of a market, but in today's market, 82% share is of Windows. So, why it acquire 82% of the market? Because of few features like convenience, throughput, and simple GUI interface. So, these are the three main reasons. That's why Windows, or we can say Microsoft, acquire approx 82% of the market. Because as we know that in today's era, everybody is not so much technical sound that to use a software, first of all, we will go for a 1-year course and then we will access the software. No. The purpose of using any software or any application is like that any semi-literate or literate person can easily access the feature of a application. So, if we make our features user-friendly and in a very customized way, that will be helpful to the user, and that is the main reason of the popularity of the specific software. In a today's market, as we see, mostly mobile phones use different versions of Android, and Android is a very user-friendly and in a very customized way. If we talk about security parameters, we can say that Linux or Unix is a much better in terms of security and privacy. Okay, but in terms of convenience and in terms of easy user interface, Windows is much better as compared to Linux, Unix. So, if we talk about the convenience, Windows is best, but about throughput, what is throughput? Number of process execute in a per unit time. Time may be in a nanosecond or microsecond. So, if we talk about, if we compare Windows and Linux, so here Linux is much better in terms of throughput. So, there are different parameters on which we select our operating system for a specific application. But if we talk about in a general commercial purpose use, Windows and Android is much better as compared to the other operating system. These are the components of a operating system. First one, hardware. As I said earlier, the hardware contains CPU, memory and I/O devices. Operating system work as a sandwich in between hardware components and the application program, and the user interact with the application program, as we know from the previous diagram. Operating system control and coordinate the use of hardware among the various application program for the various user. What are application program? Define the way in which the system resources are used to solve the computing problems of the user. That may be a compiler, database system, business program, any game like that. And user, the end user may be a people, machine and other computer that will interact with the application program. So, these are the basic components of a operating system. Now, have a look about the booting process of a operating system. How the operating system load to the machine and it execute and take the control all the resources, and how it will manage. That is done by the help of booting process. What is booting process? Booting process is the process of loading an operating system. It is a process that starts when we turn on the computer and end when operating system is loaded into the memory. As we know that when we turn the computer, the operating system is loaded into the RAM and it will manage and control all the functions of a machine when the machine is turned on. What are the steps of a booting? When computer power is on, these are the basic steps. First one is basic input output system is loaded, that will operate all the operations relevant to the IO devices. IO devices, what are IO devices? Our keyboard, mouse, printer, display unit, these are our basic input output display units. After that, second point is power on, self test is performed, check all the components that are connected with the machine that are capable or access the power or in a on mode. The third and most important point, loading the memory buffer register into a RAM. In this step, OS is loaded into a RAM and take the control all the functions relevant to the functionality of a machine. After that, running the bootloader and load the operating system into a RAM, running the OS to complete system configuration and load system utilities. In a fifth step, OS complete all the functionality and check the configuration of the all components that are connected with the machine and check their features, functionality and configuration along with that are required for a access, or we can say manage all the resources connected with the system. And finally, check the authentication of the user by taking their password. Password may be in a term of biometric, in a term of a password in a numeric or number form, or in some cases that include with a face recognition system where security is major concern. And now come to the view of operating system. Generally, there are two types of view of operating system that are defined, or we can say the interactive mode to which the user interact. First one is a user view and second one is the system view. As the name define, that is very simple, which view contain what type of details and what type of interaction or what type of customization mode. In a first mode, user view mode, the user view of the computer vary according to the interface being used. What type of interface are used, that is directly dependent on the type of interaction the user will interact to the first window of the machine. Most it is of single view or maybe a multiple view. Most computer users sit in a front of PC consisting of monitor, keyboard, mouse and system unit. Such a system is designed for one use to monopolize its resources. As we laptop and the single unit of PC is an example of one view system user. And second one is multiple user view. As the name is defined, in other case a user sit at a terminal connected to the mainframe or the mini computer. In the system in which we generally use server, or we can say client server architecture, it is a multiple user view point that are generally used in a organization where there are a number of employee and access the same type of application via using client server architecture. That is also mentioned here. The client server architecture is another good example of client may interact through a remote server and the same constraint of efficient use of server resources may arise. And second is the view of operating system. That is relevant, that is also a part of the viewing of the operating system. Multiple, generally it is of two type, user single view and the multiple view. And these are the also we can say hybrid mode of first and second model. These are handled user view and embedded system user view. Moreover, the touch screen era has given you the best handle technology ever. Smartphone interact via wireless devices and perform numerous operations, but they are not as efficient as computer interface. because there are few limitations in a touch screen operations. So if we talk about which one is better, we will prefer computer interaction mode using wired medium by using mouse or keyboard. That will be much better as compared to the touch operations, because it has few limitations regarding the functionality and operations of a machine. Likewise, the next view is embedded system user view. In this view, some computer has little or no user view. For example, embedded computer in home devices and automobiles may have numeric keypads and many turn indicator light on and off. As we see, computer is also useful in embedded system in our home appliances, just like oven and our washing machines and other daily use components, the kiosks of a car system, and many more. So these are the embedded view of a operating system, but there are few limitations, because in this we will only input by using their keypad, and the keypad have a limited functionality in a numeric form. So this is also a view of a operating system. Second is a system view. What is system view? System view, that is overall manage all the resources of a operating system. From the user point of view, we will discuss the numerous applications that are require various degree of users participation. So the hardware and the operating system interact for a variety of reasons, including what system view include. First one is resource allocation. What are resources of a computer? Resources just like CPU, I/O devices, memory space, file storage, and so on. The operating system act as a manager. As I said earlier, it manages all the parameters that are relevant to a machine, either in terms of a process management, space management, memory management, and I/O devices management. Secondly, in a system view, we also have a control program. What is control program? A control program manages the execution of user program to prevent error and improper use of a computer. Control program just manage and send the instruction to all of the I/O devices, or we can say all of the components that are connected to the machine, to how to manage these operations and how to minimize the error probability within a machine. That is the main part of a control program. It is especially connect with the operations and the control of a I/O devices, because as we know that generally the input is taken from the I/O devices, and the max possibility of error is arise at the end of I/O devices. So all the I/O operations generally synchronize and managed by a control program. Now come to the major part of a operating system. These are the functionality of a operating system. There are 5 to 6 functionality here mentions. Above this functionality, there are many more functionality also available, but now we will discuss only these 5 functionality of a operating system. First one is storage management. If we talk about the storage management, there are 2 type of storage management in a operating system. First one is and memory management. If we specifically talk about the storage management, that is relevant to the secondary memory management. And if we talk about memory management, we are talking about RAM and ROM. Okay, that is managed by different paging and segmentation methods, and there are few limitations in a storage management. But in memory management, we decide how to utilize the in a best efficient way the space of a RAM. Likewise, if we go to the sub part of the storage management, what we manage exactly internally in these management issues, these are file management and the mass storage management. Along with device management, the components that are connected or the external devices that are connected to the machines, that is also the functionality of a operating system. The outside devices may be keyboard, mouse, scanner, and so on. And the major part, if we will go through this topic into our next video lecture, that is the process management. Process management of a operating system is done by using different type of algorithms. These algorithms like FCFS, SJF, round robin, and priority scheduling. In this method, we will manage all the processes that are running in a machine in a very efficient and in a dynamic way to minimize the waiting time of a process. First of all, in a brief, I clear you what is process. Process is a running program in a machine. And what is program? Program in a, if we talk about in frame of operating system, program is a fixed line of code and process is a dynamic. Process will execute in a different manner to get the, or we can minimize the waiting time and max the throughput of a machine. Next, memory management. As I said earlier, we will manage the RAM, ROM, cache memory. And the last point is protection and security of a machine. As we know that in today's world, the protection and security is a major concern in a online era. So, how to protect the data of a machine and how to make the secure of a specific operating system, that is a major concern of today's world. So, in this functionality, OS provide a wide range of protection and security mechanisms that are implemented on a machine. Like firewall is also work on a operating system that will manage the specific client server architecture or a mainframe computer or a single computer from the external threats. That may be in term of virus or malware or any type of attack from the external connected network using internet. And how to make a secure of a system, that is also done by the help of making the different security mechanism before access the machine, by using password, by using pattern, by using biometric login, or by using face recognition system. So, there are different mode of functionality that are relevant to the wide range of our operating system functionality, but there are few we discuss here that are the major part, along with if we go to the sub classification. So, these single functionality will contain one unit according to the AKTU syllabus. So, we will discuss in a detail in a next video when we discuss about the second video lecture regarding process management. So, here we use different mechanism to check the functionality of a system. So, in today's lecture, we have clear about the introduction of operating system, their components, system view, and in brief, their functionality. Thank you. We will meet in a next video lecture with a recording of the few other content of the lecture.